South Africa against Ireland, folks, and it is the Boks who get the win at home, 27 points to 20. Game that goes right down towards the wire, has some dramatic moments, certainly kept me on the edge of my seat from 3 o'clock in the morning until, what is it now, just after 5. Good game for those of us watching in the middle of the night, because it wasn't a snooze fest. There was a large period where there was no scoring, but there was not much periods where there was no action. Action-packed game. Pollard missed a few kicks from the tee, which is uncharacteristic, but it was good to see the Boks shifting the ball wide. Guys like Pieter-Steph getting himself into space was kind of thing of beauty stuff. Ireland's line-out, troubling. Certainly one of the factors in this loss, but they certainly showed some never say die attitude because they were dead and buried with only a few minutes to play, but still made it edge of your seat stuff come full time. So both sides will take something for it, but ultimately, Russie's boys get that much desired win over Ireland. We'll go through some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. But yeah, it was good to see Osborne catch his first high ball. The debutant at the back for Ireland, and Roux caught one in return, so kind of tentative start, but certainly South Africa win the first few minutes because I mentioned those quick hands. Faf, Bongi, Kriel all involved before they get the ball to Kolisi, who's able to pop it to Kurtley with a bit of a 2-on-1. That guy's try-scoring run continues, so not much Osborne could do to stop that. That was some slick backline play and forward play in the backline and whatnot from the South African boys. So 7 points to 0. Heck of a start, but wasn't a heck of a start from Kwagga Smith, filling in for Toit on that kind of high ball catching role. He drops cold the restart. So that does give Ireland a chance, but Ireland weren't able to crack the South African line with that first attack. I mean, they had a bunch of phases, 11 of them, before getting advantage. Couldn't crack the South African line, went for a tap move, couldn't crack the South African line. They ended up knocking it on. There was a bit of handbags. These sides don't like each other that much, but as a fan, I like seeing the guys not like each other that much. That adds value to the game. Means something to them, and it means they're fired up and they really want to beat each other. That's what I want to see as a fan. Boks scrum was under a little bit of pressure, but Cheslin, Kolbe, his kick. I mean, they're right on their own goal line. The scrum's been kind of going backwards. Kwagga gets it out. Kolbe with no angle hits that thing. I mean, he has a shocker kick later on where he kicks it out on the full, so it's not immaculate from Cheslin Kolbe with the boot by any means, but that one with no angle was as a pretty sweet strike. And then Osborne, sadly for him, gets a touch on the ball, which means it goes into touch from his hand, and it's South African ball. So yeah, bit of a boost, I guess, to South African defence to hold the initial Irish onslaught. But that being said, Ireland did get a 3-pointer not too long later when Ox was pinged for not rolling, so 7 points to 3. South Africa got 3 back when McCarthy was pinged for not rolling. The game had to be stopped for a while after a big collision between Henshaw and Kolisi. And Ireland conceded a penalty through Porter at the breakdown, which meant after almost half an hour, it is 13 points to 3. Ireland did manage to get themselves back into South African territory on about half an hour, and it had been a while. They had been camped down their own end for quite some time. Bongi got pinged at the breakdown for that one, but they pushed a pretty straightforward kick wide, which was not just limited to Crowley, because as I mentioned, Pollard missed a few that he would normally be getting. But then they get another chance not too long later when Kriel has a lazy run, which means South Africa can concede a penalty. This time they don't go for Poles, the Irish. They go through 13 phases, and it takes some skills to get the try, but boy, do they get it. Wide pass from Crowley. That's bloody beautiful. Sheehan, who's got an injured leg because he's got his knee all strapped up. He's taken a wee knock earlier. Behind his back to Lowe. Lowe's getting shoved into touch, just releases the ball in time to get it to that man Osborne. That's a wow try. That's a proper try. It took some skills to break the South African defence in the first half, but man, did they have it. Misconversion, but 13 points to 8. That is proper game on. Pollard did have one shot to get 3 points back for South Africa before half-time, but it went wide after Porter was pinged for playing the 9. So we go into the sheds. It's 13 points to 8. It's tight, man. Possession and territory. Ireland have got possession 51%. South Africa got territory 54%. Not much in it. Clean breaks is 2-1. But interestingly, the run meters is 244 to South Africa, 91 to Ireland. Because a lot of Ireland's attack has been pounding on that South African goal line without actually getting the meterage. They're getting the carries. They got the possession. But they're not necessarily going meters because they are so close to that goal line for large periods. And sometimes they were just kind of keen to kick it wide to the wings to chase. So it seemed to be a tactic for Ireland in that first half. Second half starts, Sheehan and Henshaw don't return. They've both taken knocks in that first half. So that's not ideal for the Irish guys. But I mean, Sheehan was kind of limping, so it made sense to take him off. I'm not sure if Henshaw's non-return was linked to that collision he had with Kolisi earlier, but I guess we'll find out as the week goes on. And Ireland did well, man, to hold the early South African onslaught in the second half. Byrne ended up intercepting a Faf de Klerk kind of rushed pass, and then Peter O'Mahony had a diving pass back. I guess he wanted to be a halfback in another life, but Ireland were able to clear. And on 46 minutes, Pollard missed another penalty. Very, very uncharacteristic from him. At 49 minutes, one of the biggest cheers of the night comes when South Africa change number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6 all at the same time. That's got to suck if you're in the opposition forward pack. I mean, Ireland, they took off Peter O'Mahony and they took off McCarthy. So they replaced 2 forwards. South Africa literally replaced 6 of their forwards at the same time. And as I said, the crowd was absolutely loving every moment of that one. Both sides won some penalties. I mean, Josh van der Flier turned over Archias Neyman, and Malcolm Marx managed to win a penalty on Doris. Kriel got turned over at one point. It looked like James Lowe had gone in for a try, but they ruled that the turnover, which saw Sheehan involved at the breakdown, meant he was flicking the ball back with his legs while he was on the floor. That's a penalty, which means Pollard gets a shot at Poles, which he misses again. You got Casey with a nice 50-22, but not long later he goes off with a bit of whiplash. He got hit by Archias Neyman and his head just kind of clattered into the ground. That was one of the longest stoppages of the game. And at that point, the ref has a word with Caelan Doris. Seemingly he's a bit sick of being questioned. So he was basically telling him to zip it, seemingly. 64 minutes, you got a big South African scrum. James Lowe does well from the resulting penalty to keep the ball in field. However, usually when you want to keep the ball in field, it's best if one of your teammates is there to kind of grab it. But sadly for the Irish, and this one's a real 50-50 one, nobody's there from Ireland, or at least not quick enough to react ahead of Cheslin Kolbe. Now, Cheslin Kolbe chases everything. He is just a high work rate player. Even when it's a lost cause, he'll chase it. And in this case, like what should be a standard penalty kick for touch going to Roux line-out time, Kolbe's still chasing it. And because Lowe's able to keep it in, Kolbe's chasing it means he's there and he's able to hack it through and go over for a try. Now, we had to have a very long TMO look at that one to see if Lowe was actually in touch when he flicked the ball back. And because it was an on-field try, they had to give it. But they didn't really have an angle that you could say is absolutely conclusive, because some of the angles look like he still had a hand on it, but it's hard from the behind his back angle to tell if his hand is actually on the ball or not. But certainly that was a moment. You got to give it credit to Cheslin Kolbe, and if it's inconclusive, you just have to go with the on-field decision, which was a try. So that's 20 points to 8. It's starting to look pretty hairy for the Irish, things they've had their own try chalked off. This one's been given against them. But as I mentioned, the Irish didn't give up. They kept fighting. 73 minutes, South Africa have been conceding a few penalties, and Kurtley Arendse cops a yellow card for the kind of repeated infringements. Doris goes close a minute later. That one they had to have a look at with the TMO as well, but that one's not given. But from the restart, a bit of Irish skill is able to break the South African defence, and maybe from South Africa's point of view, that's one of their kind of softer moments on defence. Like there's been periods earlier in the game where Ireland's been knocking on the door for days, and they've not broken. But this pretty simple play, man. Kelleher catches a pop pass from Finlay Beelum. Murray runs a support line, and 20 points to 15. Absolutely back to game on. And then a pretty dumb moment. I mean, easy for me to say sitting on my couch 4 a.m. But James Lowe from the restart. And South Africa have been kicking the restarts deep all day long. Feinberg-Mngomezulu comes on and he hoofs the restart deep as you like. And it's going dead. It's absolutely going dead. There's no way that ball's not going dead. But James Lowe, moment of hesitation, pressure moment. He gets a hand on it, which means it's in his own goal area. He tries to kick it, but it's charged down. So it's a 5-metre scrum, South Africa. And the South African pack just absolutely monsters Ireland from that scrum. It's a penalty try, and Kelleher gets yellow carded. So that's an absolute, you've just got yourself back in the game, and you've just thrown it all away. Seemingly, moment. But, again, Ireland don't know when they're beaten. They make up for it. And James Lowe's got a hand in it, which is nice for him to kind of make up for that last moment. He's able to pop the ball to Beard when they've got it wide to Lowe for that final try. Misconversion means it's 27 points to 20. Ireland have a chance with no time left to chase the draw at least, but they're unable to get it done. But man, like Ireland at least twice in this game are dead and buried and find a way to get back into it. You're 20 points to 8 down with like bugger all time left, and they still manage to find a way to get a try. You give away a calamitous try to gift the game to the opposition with even less time left and still manage to come back and score a try. So I'll certainly take some positives from it. But, yeah, not the win. Tight game, man. Possession, 50-50. Territory, 53-47 to South Africa. Run meters, 389, 314 to South Africa. Defenders beaten 21-20 to South Africa. Not much in it. Clean break, 6-3 to South Africa. Offloads, 12-7 to South Africa. But turnovers won, 7-3 to Ireland. Ireland made 122 tackles. South Africa made 119. Bugger all in it. I mean, the goal kicking 4 from 7 and 2 from 5. Neither team's going to like those numbers. But then the line-out one, like 11 from 12 South Africa, 10 from 14 for Ireland. The Irish line-out has issues against South Africa, apparently. Kriel, 77 metres. I think he gets man of the match. Very busy effort from him. James Lowe, 75 metres. 4 defenders beaten. Kolbe, 5 defenders beaten. Defensive shifts from Toit with 18 tackles. Burn with 13 tackles. Doris with 3 turnovers, 1. Big old game. Big old game between two big old teams. Certainly kept me awake as I was sitting there in the middle of the night. But yeah, I'm going to go take a nap because France and Argentina are playing in 90 minutes. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Congratulations, South Africa. Ireland, you get a chance next week. Hopefully Sheehan's fit. We'll see how he goes. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts on the game, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.